People want money, success, and material things. People want to become famous and build brands and names for themselves. People want love, and whether that's love from the opposite gender or from their family and friends group, they want love. All these things are fine in moderation, but the thing is about all of those is that they're all self-centered. They all focus on the one who has the goal, the vision, the dream. It's all surrounded around themselves. In order to achieve some of those goals, maybe even most of them, you're going to have to compromise your morals. You're going to have to compromise your integrity. You may have to do some things that you don't want to do. And you may have to put some people down just to make yourself look better. The real action happens whenever you let yourself go. Remove your ego and your plans from the table and add God's will and God's plan for your life. And watch what happens. When have you ever known God to make a mistake? I get a lot of people that ask me about my eye. And this isn't a mistake from God, guys. This is something that I did to myself. My eye's like this because I did this. I was about 5 to 6 years old, real young. And I was sliding down the stairs on my stomach with my twin brother, just being bad kids. And my aunt told me, my mom and my aunt told both of us to stop, right? There's the command, stop. And my disobedience, I kept doing it. That's where the action happens, right? I disobeyed my mom. I disobeyed my aunt, and I fell down the stairs and I landed so hard on the right side of my head that I caused nerve damage to the left side of my head, which is why my eye floats off center like that. The reason why it's blue is because I had a corneal lens transplant to try to give me vision in my eye. That's God, right? Now, however, I didn't follow all the procedures and the protocol after the fact to give myself strength. So the surgery over time just deteriorated. That's me again, right? God doesn't make the mistake. Could God heal me right now and make me have good vision in this eye? Of course. But is it necessary though? It's not necessary. Think back to Paul in the Bible. Paul's thorn in his side. Paul had an illness or some sort of ailment that he had to endure and walk out through his life. And it kept Paul being humble. And a lot of people ask me in the comment section what happened to my eye and if they could pray for me. By all means, I'm not going to stop anyone from praying for me. But my eye being this way is a part of me. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. So when people ask and they try to be, they don't want to offend me. It doesn't offend me, guys. I've been like this all my life. I can't change it. You know what I mean? And it's built up character inside of me that made me have thick skin. If people want to say something about it, they can. But at the end of the day, I've had to walk through a lot with it. So it's made me into a tougher person. God doesn't make mistakes, guys. Anything that you go through in your life, he's got a purpose for it. But that doesn't mean that God causes everything to happen to you. All the bad stuff that happens to you, that's not from God. That's from the enemy. I saw a post on Instagram yesterday from a fitness influencer that I was following up until this post. Now, I hadn't been looking at this guy's content for a while because he started to talk about, psychedelics and like witchcraft and stuff. And I don't think that people truly understand that this new age stuff is witchcraft. But he started talking about all these new age things and, opening his third eye and his chakras and all this other stuff. And I stopped watching his content about 2 years ago. But then I saw this post on Instagram yesterday. He was talking about how eating right and working out daily is more important than praying. And I was just like, what is wrong with this dude? Who says something like that? If you put anything above God, that's number one, thou shalt have no other gods before me. And if you make yourself God, you're in for a rude awakening. Obviously, I unfollowed the guy after that because I'm not trying to entertain that type of stuff. I'm not trying to support that type of stuff. And I read some of the comments and people were telling him he was tripping. And he was like, what has your God in the sky done for you? And I'm sitting here looking at this multi-millionaire dude, that's got all the things in the world that he could ever want. And, it's like, bro, do you know that all the good that you have comes from the Lord? Even if you didn't get it from God himself, someone in your life was placed there by God to then help you get those things, because maybe he'll get the glory. Maybe you'll understand that you got to live your life for God, right? You don't always, just because you reject God, don't get a blessing from him. You might not get into heaven still, but God will definitely lead you. He wants you to come to salvation. He wants you to know him. What plans do you have for your life? What action steps are you taking to get them? Are you doing this all on your own accord? Or are you praying to God to help you achieve these goals? When we have a vision, we have a plan, we often try to interject that will or that plan onto God. Hey God, this is what I'm doing. Can you bless it? Or hey God, this is what I want to do. Can you give me the provisions for it? How often are we actually saying, hey God, I'm gonna let myself go. I'm gonna remove myself out of this equation. I'm gonna be your vessel. Tell me what you want to do with me, Lord. Bless me in the way to achieve your purpose for my life, God. How often do we do that? There's nothing wrong with planning, right? But when you're trying to execute something that isn't meant to be, like that's not in the cards, you're gonna run up against a lot of friction. You're gonna run into a lot of difficulty. You probably will fail at it because it's not meant to be. But when you start walking in accordance with God's will and you start doing what he wants for your life, then all of a sudden you're an overnight success story. You get this trajectory, this speed, this acquisition of all of these things at such a fast pace because God's behind it. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to go to rocket ship, straight to the moon success, because there's moderation to everything. Even the good stuff comes in moderation. Success is good in moderation. If you get too successful too quick or you grow too big too fast, you're not going to be able to handle it. You won't even have the procedures in place to be able to, achieve and continue doing the success that you've achieved at that level because you don't have the groundwork to sustain it. I know a lot of people that try to start businesses and they want their business to grow super fast, right? But sometimes you can grow too quickly and a business will fail. Sometimes it'll grow too slow and you'll miss the window of opportunity that's built around that business. Just look at the tech industry. Tech industry is booming and growing, and we still haven't even seen the height of it yet, right? But there's things that we used to use that are obsolete now. CD players, DVD players, VCRs, all those things were big deals back in the day. That stuff's gone now. It's still out there, but if you try to open up a VCR store right now, you're gonna fail. If you try to open up a videotape store right now, you're gonna fail, right? So there's things we have to do. We have to let God be our guide, or we could try to get into the wrong lane. And when you're in the slow lane and you're trying to go fast, you're gonna have a lot of cars in your way. And when you're in the fast lane trying to go slow, you're gonna have a lot of people driving by you honking at you because you're not where you're supposed to be. So we get into this mode of trying to do everything on our own, and we get uncomfortable. We get, sometimes we get complacent. Sometimes we don't want to move the needle. We don't want to do more than what we're doing. But God ain't gonna let you get comfortable for too long. For real, we're supposed to be thriving. We're supposed to be like growing in our faith, growing in our walk, growing in our time with the Lord, growing in our relationship with the Lord, growing in our relationship with other believers and friends. Your business. If you stay the same year over year, you're gonna lose money. Every year, supplies get more expensive. Every year, the dollar has some type of fluctuation in value. Nothing is getting cheaper with inflation right now. So if you sell the same amount of items in your business this year as you did last year, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna make the same amount of money. So I really, hope that you guys understand the message here. When you're trying to control things, when you want to be the one to make everything happen, that's pride. That's pride, guys. That's not going to help you lead to success. But when you give it all to God and you follow his directives, you follow his orders and his instructions, he's not going to make a mistake. If he tells you do this and you do that, it's going to work. So let yourself go, give it to God, walk in alignment with his will, because God is a good father. He doesn't make bad decisions. He doesn't tell us to do things that don't have a good outcome. And it might not always be like a financial success or a financial reward, but it'll be storing up treasures in heaven. And that's what really matters, guys. That's going to do it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, God bless.